This is a continuation of the first calm reading of the S.C.U.M Manifesto. Here we go. Starting off where we last left off. Being an incomplete female, the male spends his life attempting to complete himself, to become female. He attempts to do this by constantly seeking out fraternizing with and trying to live through and fuse with the female, and by claiming as his own all female characteristics: emotional strength and independence, forcefulness, dynamism, decisiveness, coolness, objectivity, assertiveness, courage, integrity, vitality, intensity, depth of character, grooviness, etc., and projecting onto women all male traits: vanity, frivolity, triviality, weakness, etc. It should be said, though, that the male has one glaring area of superiority over the female: public relations. He has done a brilliant job of convincing millions of women that men are women and women are men. The male claim that females find fulfillment through motherhood and sexuality reflects what males think they'd find fulfilling if they were female. Women, in other words, don't have penis envy. I think that was something in psychology. Penis envy. Men have pussy envy. When the male accepts his passivity, defines himself as a woman, males as well as females think men are women and women are men, and becomes a transvestite, he loses his desire to screw, or to do anything else for that matter. He fulfills himself as a drag queen, and gets his cock chopped off. He then achieves a continuous diffuse sexual feeling from being a woman. Screwing is, for a man, a defense against his desire to be female. Sex is itself a sublimation. The male, because of his obsession to compensate for not being a female, combined with his inability to relate and to feel compassion, has made the world a shit pile. He is responsible for war. Page 5. War. The male's normal method of compensation for not being female, namely getting his big gun off, is grossly inadequate, as he can get it off only a very limited number of times. So he gets it off on a really massive scale and proves to the entire world that he's a man. Since he has no compassion or ability to empathize or identify, proving his manhood is worth an endless amount of mutilation and suffering, and an endless number of lives, including his own. His own life being worthless, he would rather go out in a blaze of glory than plod grimly on for 50 more years. Niceness, politeness, and dignity. Every man, deep down, knows he's a worthless piece of shit, overwhelmed by a sense of animalism and deeply ashamed of it, wanting not to express himself, but to hide from others his total physicality, total egocentricity, the hate and contempt he feels for other men, and to hide from himself the hate and contempt he suspects other men feel for him. Having a crudely constructed nervous system that is easily upset by the lightest display of emotion or feeling, the male tries to enforce a social code that ensures a perfect blandness, unsullied by the slightest trace of feeling or upsetting opinion. He uses terms like copulate, sexual congress, have relations with. To men, sexual relations is a redundancy, overlaid with stilted manners. The suit on the chimp. The other one is male marriage. Money, marriage, and prostitution. Money and work prevention of an automated society. There is no human reason for money or for anyone to work for more than 2 or 3 hours a week at the very most. All non-creative jobs, practically all jobs now being done, could have been automated long ago, and in a moneyless society, everyone can have as much of the best of everything as she wants. But there are non-human male reasons for maintaining the money work system. Number 1, pussy. Despising his highly inadequate self, overcome with intense anxiety and a deep, profound loneliness when by his empty self, desperate to attach himself to any female in dim hopes of completing himself, in the mystical belief that by touching gold, he'll turn to gold, the male craves the continuous companionship of women. The company of the lowest female is preferable to his own or that of other men who serve only to remind him of his repulsiveness, but females, unless very young and very sick, must be coerced or bribed into male company. Number 2, supply the non-relating male with the delusion of usefulness, and enable him to try to justify his existence by digging holes and filling them up. Leisure time horrifies the male, who will have nothing to do but contemplate his grotesque self. I'm popping into the mic. Oh no. Unable to relate or to love, the male must work. Females crave absorbing, emotionally satisfying, meaningful activity, but lacking the opportunity or ability for this. They prefer to idle and waste away their time in ways of their own choosing: sleeping, shopping, bowling, shooting pool, playing cards and other games, reading, that's a bar, reading and reading, walking around, daydreaming, eating, playing with themselves, popping pills, going to the movies, getting analyzed, this just goes on and on. Traveling, raising dogs and cats, lolling on the beach, swimming, watching TV, listening to music, decorating their house, gardening, sewing, nightclubbing, dancing, visiting, improving their minds, in brackets, taking courses, and absorbing culture, in brackets, lectures, plays, concerts, arty, movies, in brackets. Therefore, many female would, even assuming complete economic equality between the sexes, prefer living with males or peddling their asses on the street, thus having most of their time for themselves. To spending many hours of their days spending many hours of their days doing boring, stultifying, non-creative work for somebody else, functioning as less than animals, as machines, or at best, if able to get a good job, co-managing the shit pile. What will liberate women, therefore, from male... What will liberate women, therefore, from male control is the total elimination of the money work system, not the attainment of economic equality with men within it. Number 3, power and control. Unmasterful in his personal relations with women, the male attains to general masterfulness by the manipulation of money and of everything and everybody controlled by money. In other words, of everything and everybody. Number 4, love substitute. Unable to give love or affection, the male gives money. It makes him feel motherly. The mother gives milk. He gives bread. He is the breadwinner. Number 5, provides the male with a goal. Incapable of enjoying the moment, the male needs something to look forward to, and money provides him with an eternal, never-ending goal. Just think what you could do with $80 trillion. Invest it, and in 3 years' time, you'd have $300 trillion. Number 6, provides the basis for the male's major opportunity to control and manipulate. Fatherhood. Fatherhood and mental illness, fear, cowardice, timidity. I gotta stop spitting in that mic. Timidity, humility, insecurity, passivity. Mother wants what's best for her kids. Daddy only wants what's best for daddy. That is peace and quiet. Pandering to his delusion of dignity, respect, a good reflection on himself, status, and the opportunity to control and manipulate, or if he's an enlightened father, to give guidance. His daughter, in addition, he wants sexually. He gives her hand in marriage. The other part is for him. Daddy, unlike mother, can never give in to his kids, as he must at all costs preserve his delusion of decisiveness, forcefulness, always righteousness, always rightness, and strength. Never getting one's way leads to lack of confidence, leads to lack of self-confidence in one's ability to cope with the world, and to a passive acceptance of the status quo. Mother loves her kids, although she sometimes gets angry, but anger blows over quickly, and even while it exists, doesn't preclude love and basic acceptance. Emotionally diseased daddy doesn't love his kids. He approves of them. If they're good, that is, if they're nice, respectful, obedient. Just so you know, if I say words weirdly like respectful, just know that they're in quotations. Respectful, obedient, subservient to his will, quiet, and not given to unseemly displays of temper that would be most upsetting to Daddy's easily disturbed male nervous system. In other words, if they're passive vegetables, if they're not good, he doesn't get angry. Not if he's a modern civilized father. The old-fashioned ranting, raving brute is preferable, as he is so ridiculous. He can be easily despised, but rather expresses disapproval, a state that, unlike anger, endures and precludes a basic acceptance, leaving the kid with a feeling of worthlessness and a lifelong obsession with being approved of. I gotta take a drink. Right, here we go. Being approved of. The result is fear of independent thought, as this leads to unconventional, disapproved of opinions and ways of life. And yeah, this ends page 9. I can start the next one. I don't know, like a couple weeks from now. This is something that I've always wanted to do. I have it written on my wall, like on a notepad, on a sticky note, saying "S.C.U.M Manifesto." Arrow pointed to it. Read as a joke.